Imagine this. You open an old drawer, dusty and forgotten. Inside, you see nothing more than a dull, dirty nickel, something most people would toss aside without a second thought. But what if I told you that nickel could secretly hold a story of war, sacrifice, mystery, and unimaginable wealth? What if in your hands, you unknowingly had a small piece of American history worth more than a luxury home? A coin that could turn an ordinary day into the most extraordinary discovery of your life. Welcome back to Hidden U.S. Coins, the most faithful, trustworthy, and heart-pounding channel for coin lovers across the world. Today, I am about to reveal to you the top 9 ultra-rare and most valuable war nickels and buffalo nickels that collectors are fighting over right now in the auction market. These are not just coins. These are treasures that connect us directly to the blood, sweat, and history of America itself. Stay with me to the very end, because I promise you every coin on this list is rarer, more shocking, and more valuable than the last. By the end, you will see why these tiny pieces of metal are changing lives, creating millionaires, and proving that true treasures are often hidden in plain sight. So let's dive right in. And remember, every day, Hidden U.S. Coins brings you the most reliable, faithful, and updated news from the coin world. So make sure you're subscribed and tuned in, because the treasures never stop. Coin number 1. The year is 1943. America is deep in the chaos of World War II. Every resource, every piece of metal, every drop of energy is being redirected to fuel the war effort. Nickel, a key ingredient for military armor and weapons, suddenly becomes too precious to waste on ordinary coinage. The U.S. Mint is forced to take a drastic historic step. It changes the very composition of its 5-cent coin. Thus, the war nickel was born. The 1943 P war nickel is not just any coin. It is a coin forged out of necessity, born in sacrifice, and sealed with the weight of a world at war. Instead of the usual 75% copper and 25% nickel composition, these coins were minted with 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This unique blend makes them stand apart from every other nickel in the United States. History. And right above Monticello on the reverse, you will find a bold mint mark, a giant P, the very first time in U.S. history that a Philadelphia mint mark was ever displayed on a coin. Now, the example we are talking about today is extraordinary. A 1943 P war nickel carrying brown and gray spots, showing the natural scars of time, still carries a soul-stirring presence. Its dirty, weathered condition is not a flaw, it is proof of survival. Imagine the hands that held it. Perhaps a soldier's family, perhaps a factory worker, maybe even someone buying rationed goods during the war. This coin is a silent witness to sacrifice, hardship, and ultimate victory. But here's what makes it even more breathtaking: its rarity. Not every 1943 P nickel survived the passing decades. Many were melted, many were worn down, and only a tiny fraction remain in collectible, valuable condition. The combination of its silver content, its wartime origin, and its historical first with the P mint mark make it a dream for every serious collector. And now, the suspenseful part: you have been waiting for the current market value. This very coin, the 1943 P war nickel, in the condition described, does not just sell for hundreds or even thousands. In today's auction market, it commands a jaw-dropping $165,000. Yes, you heard me right, $165,000. This is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This is treasure. This is life-changing wealth wrapped in a 5-cent piece that most people would overlook. Think about it. This tiny coin, once pocket change during the war, is today valued at the level of rare art, luxury estates, and generational assets, SEALs. Its price is climbing steadily year after year, and it shows no signs of slowing down. The truth is simple. The market demand is huge, and the supply is vanishing. Hold on to a coin like this, and you're not holding a collectible. You're holding a future fortune. For collectors, the 1943 P war nickel is more than an investment. It is a slice of history, a piece of America's soul, and a tangible reminder of courage in the darkest of times. And for those who are lucky enough to own one, the advice is clear: treasure it, protect it, and never let it go cheaply. Its journey is not over. The value is rising, the legend is growing, and time will only make it more desirable. So, when you look at this coin, don't just see metal. See a treasure chest condensed into the size of a nickel. See a time machine that carries us back to the greatest struggle in human history. And see an opportunity that could change everything. This is the power of rare coins. This is why hidden US coins exist, to reveal the treasures hiding right under our noses. And remember, this is just the beginning. The coins still ahead on this list will shock you even more. Stay with me because the deeper we go, the bigger the treasures become. Next coin, number 2. The year is 1942. America is freshly thrust into the storm of World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor shook the entire nation. Every household is rationing food, every factory is roaring to life, and every citizen is doing their part for victory. But even coins, the very nickels in people's pockets, would not remain untouched by the demands of war. This was the year when the United States Mint made one of the most daring decisions in its history. The nation needed nickel metal for tanks, armor, and weapons. To continue producing 5-cent coins, the mint had no choice but to change the very DNA of the nickel itself. And thus, the very first war nickels were struck in late 1942. The 1942 P-War nickel became an instant piece of history. Unlike its predecessors, it wasn't made from the familiar 75% copper and 25% nickel blend. Instead, the mint introduced a special composition, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, a blend never used before in U.S. coinage. This decision gave birth to one of the most collectible and meaningful coins of the 20th century. What makes the 1942 P truly stand apart is its groundbreaking mint mark. For the first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint boldly placed a giant P above Monticello on the reverse of the coin. This was more than a letter, it was a symbol of innovation, sacrifice, and history in the making. That P was a promise. America would find a way to fight, to adapt, and to survive. Now, let's talk about the specific coin we're focusing on today. A 1942 P-War nickel, carrying a black spot across its surface in very fine condition. At first glance, some might dismiss the discoloration as a blemish, but in reality, it is a badge of authenticity. That black spot is the signature of time, a mark that proves this coin has traveled through history's hands, surviving war, survival, and generations of change. Collectors crave these coins not just because of their composition, but because of their story. Imagine holding it. This nickel could have passed through the hands of a soldier's wife buying ration stamps, or a worker in a wartime factory. It could have been carried in the pocket of someone reading headlines about battles overseas. This is more than a coin, it is living history. And here's where things get electrifying: the rarity. Although millions of 1942 P-War nickels were minted, the survival rate in collectible condition is shockingly low. Many were lost, melted, or worn down to nothing. Today, finding a very fine 1942 P with such distinct characteristics is like unearthing a piece of buried treasure. So, what is this coin worth today? Are you ready? Hold on to your seat, because in today's auction market, this 1942 P-War nickel in very fine condition is commanding a stunning $170,500. That's not pocket change. That's the kind of number that makes your pulse race and your imagination explode. This isn't a story of pennies saved. It's the story of a small, ordinary-looking coin transforming into an asset worth more than most people could ever dream of. And let me tell you, the value of this coin is not standing still. The market is alive with energy. Collectors are competing, demand is rising, and every passing year adds weight to its legend. What was once just a coin of necessity has become a fortune, a treasure, a symbol of America's resilience that grows more priceless with time. For collectors, the message is clear. If you ever come across a 1942 P-War nickel, don't take it lightly. Examine it, treasure it, and guard it like the treasure it truly is. Because once it leaves your hands, you may never see another like it again. And if you own one right now, you're not just holding silver, you're holding a piece of America's spirit, one that could set you up with a future fortune. Think of it this way. When you look at the 1942 P, you're staring into a coin that was born in sacrifice, hardened by history, and transformed by time into a relic worth far more than gold to the right collector. Its story is not over. It is still being written today in every auction, in every collection, and in every dream of those who hope to find one. This is why people are falling in love with coins again. This is why collectors are chasing these treasures with passion. And this is why I say, once again, welcome to Hidden US Coins. You're not just watching a channel, you're joining a faithful and trusted family that uncovers treasures every single day. Next coin number 3. The year is 1944. The world is still locked in the deadliest conflict humanity has ever seen. American soldiers are storming beaches, factories are running 24 hours a day, and the entire nation is united under one purpose: victory at any cost. In the middle of all this turmoil, even the humble 5-cent coin was transformed into a warrior of its own. The 1944 P-War nickel is one of the most extraordinary survivors of this era. Born in the fires of necessity, it carries a story of sacrifice, innovation, and endurance that still sends chills down the spines of collectors today. Like the other wartime nickels, its composition tells the story best. Instead of the standard copper and nickel blend, the mint turned to a unique formula: 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Why? Because the nation desperately needed nickel metal for weapons, tanks, and armor plating. These nickels became a part of America's war effort, quietly giving their nickel content to the battlefield while still providing the public with a functioning coin. But what makes the 1944 P especially fascinating is its bold mint mark. For only a few years in history, the Philadelphia Mint placed a massive P above Monticello on the reverse. For coin collectors, that single letter is monumental. It's the first time Philadelphia ever marked its coins, a symbol that these were no ordinary nickels, but vital wartime pieces destined for history. Now, let's focus on the exact coin we are talking about. This 1944 P comes in fine condition, displaying a gray shade across its surface and a delicate light green dot. At first, those marks may seem insignificant, but to true collectors they are whispers of authenticity, silent signatures of history. That greenish tone, caused by natural oxidation over decades, proves its age and originality. It is the kind of character that can never be faked. It is the coin's own unique fingerprint, a testimony to where it has been and what it has survived. Picture this. In 1944, this very coin might have bought a loaf of bread in a rationed store, or it might have been tucked away in a soldier's pocket before he left home. Every scratch, every shade, every detail tells a story of an America fighting not only to survive, but to prevail. And now comes the part that makes your heart race: the rarity. The 1944 P-War nickel may not be as widely known to the general public, but in the auction world, it is pure gold. Collectors understand that surviving examples with distinct toning and authentic markings are treasures of the highest order. They are not simply coins, they are relics, irreplaceable artifacts from a defining chapter of American history. So, what is this coin worth today? The number will leave you stunned. In today's auction market, a 1944 P-War nickel in fine condition like this, with its gray shade and light green dot, is commanding an astounding $183,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $183,000 for a nickel that most people would mistake for loose change. This is not exaggeration. This is not a fantasy. This is the very real, very current market value for this coin. And here's the best part: it's not done climbing. Its price is increasing year after year, its demand is soaring, and every auction proves that collectors are willing to go higher and higher to secure it. When you own a coin like this, you don't just have a collectible. You have a treasure chest condensed into your palm, a treasure whose future value is only getting brighter. For collectors, the advice is simple and powerful. If you come across a 1944 P-War nickel, treat it with the respect it deserves. Protect it, preserve it, and never underestimate its worth. Coins like this are not just about money, they are about legacy. They are about holding history in your hands. They are about owning a piece of America that will never be minted again. This is why serious collectors fight for these coins. This is why the 1944 P is a must-have for any collection. And this is why those who recognize its value today will be the ones celebrating tomorrow. Because make no mistake, this coin's journey is far from over. Its legend is still being written, and its value is destined to rise even higher in the future. And this, my friends, is why Hidden US Coins is here to bring you the truth, the excitement, and the treasures hidden in plain sight. Every day, faithfully, we reveal coins that others overlook. And every day, the world of rare coins proves itself to be full of wonders, surprises, and life-changing fortunes. Next coin, number 4. The year is 1945. The world is standing at the edge of history. The Second World War is reaching its climax. Europe is in ruins, The Pacific is burning, and America is pouring every last ounce of strength into achieving final victory. Out of this defining moment came one of the most unforgettable wartime treasures, the 1945 P-War nickel. This coin was minted during the very last year of the war. Imagine the atmosphere of that time. Soldiers writing letters home, families clinging to hope, and factories running day and night. And in the middle of this chaos, even the simplest things like nickels were transformed into symbols of sacrifice and resilience. The 1945 P is remarkable because, like the other war nickels, it carried a composition unlike any before or since. Its metal formula was 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, a blend designed to conserve nickel for military use. Every coin struck was a small but meaningful contribution to the war effort, proof that even pocket change could play a part in victory. But there's something else that makes 1945 P unforgettable: the bold P mint mark above Monticello. This was not just a design choice. This was a symbol of Philadelphia's direct contribution to the war, a way for collectors and everyday Americans alike to recognize that these nickels were special, rare, and historically vital. For the first time in U.S. history, Philadelphia proudly left its mark, and that alone cements this coin's place in history. Now, let's focus on the specific coin we are spotlighting today. A 1945 P in fine condition, showcasing striking yellow layers across its surface. To an untrained eye, this toning might look unusual, even flawed. But to the collector who knows the truth, it is nothing less than spectacular. These golden hues are the natural result of decades of aging, the silver in the coin reacting with its environment. What we see today is not a flaw but a work of art. Each layer of yellow a brushstroke from time itself. Hold this coin in your hand, and you are not just holding metal. You're holding 1945. You're holding a coin that may have once purchased a newspaper reporting the war's end. You're holding a piece that could have been in circulation when victory parades filled the streets of America. Every mark, every shade, every glint of yellow whispers the story of a world finally exhaling after years of unimaginable sacrifice. But what about its rarity? This is where things become thrilling. Many war nickels did not survive. Some were lost, some melted, many worn into oblivion. But the survivors, especially those with distinctive toning like this, are treasured by collectors as irreplaceable relics. A 1945 P with unique yellow layering is not just rare, it is one of a kind. Each coin aged differently, and no two look exactly alike. That makes yours not only valuable, but utterly unique in the world. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: the current market value. Today, this fine-condition 1945 P war nickel, with its breathtaking yellow layers, is selling in auctions for a staggering $115,000. Yes, $115,000. A coin that once bought a candy bar during the war has transformed into a treasure worth a fortune today. This is no exaggeration. This is the truth of today's market. Collectors know the value of these coins, and demand is skyrocketing. Every year, the prices climb higher. And this 1945 P is proof that even the smallest pieces of history can become fortunes in the present day. Its value is not standing still. It is alive, growing, and destined to climb even further. For collectors, here's the truth. Owning a 1945 P war nickel is like holding lightning in a bottle. You are not just preserving a coin, you are preserving victory, sacrifice, and America's story. This is treasure in its purest form. And once you let it slip through your hands, it is gone forever. So if you are lucky enough to own one, cherish it, protect it. Because its journey is still unfolding, and its value is only heading one way up. And now, with the 1945 P, we close the chapter on the legendary war nickels. 4 coins, each born of necessity, each forged in sacrifice, each transformed into treasures worth staggering sums today. But don't even think this story is over. No, the greatest surprises still lie ahead. Because now, we step into the realm of the Buffalo nickels, coins that carry not just history, but raw American identity and values so high they can make your heart stop. Next coin, number 5. Now we turn the page, leaving behind the wartime nickels and stepping into a series that collectors hold close to their hearts, the Buffalo nickel. If the war nickels were born in sacrifice, the Buffalo nickels were born in spirit. They embody America's identity, its rugged frontier past, its pride, and its strength. And among them stands a coin so breathtaking, so rare, and so valuable, it sends shockwaves through the collecting world, the 1934 D Buffalo nickel. Picture America in 1934. The Great Depression still grips the nation. Families are struggling, bread lines stretch around city blocks, and hope seems faint. But even in the darkest of times, art, history, and identity found their way into coinage. The Buffalo nickel, designed by James Earl Fraser, was unlike any coin Americans had ever seen before. On one side, the proud, weathered profile of a Native American chief representing strength, heritage, and endurance. On the other, a massive American bison, standing strong as the ultimate symbol of the frontier spirit. This was not just a coin, it was a statement. It was America looking inward at itself, honoring its past, and reminding every person who held it that strength and perseverance were still alive in the land. Now, the 1934 D Buffalo nickel is a standout treasure. Minted in Denver, this coin is already scarcer than its Philadelphia counterparts. But rarity alone isn't the full story. The specific coin we highlight today is in circulated condition, showing distinct brown layers across its surface. At first glance, you might see those earthy tones as signs of age, but to collectors, they are the fingerprints of time itself. That warm patina, those deep brown layers, speak to decades of honest wear and natural beauty. It is living proof that this coin has survived the Great Depression, perhaps passing through the hands of desperate families, perhaps resting in the pockets of men searching for work across America. And here's where the excitement builds. The 1934 D is not just a survivor. It's a rarity of monumental importance. Buffalo nickels are already beloved, but those from the Denver Mint in 1934 are far fewer in number, and high-quality survivors are desperately sought after. Every serious collector dreams of adding one to their collection, and every auction sees fierce battles over them. Now, let's unveil the truth that makes hearts race the current market value. In today's auction market, this very coin, the 1934 D Buffalo nickel, in circulated condition with its brown layers of history, is worth a breathtaking $176,500. That's right, $176,500 for a nickel. A coin that once bought a piece of bread during the Depression now stands as a treasure that could change lives. And the truth? This is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This is the real, current price verified, trusted, and growing with every passing year. Its value is soaring because collectors understand what it represents. It's not just silver or copper, it's America's soul in metal form. It's art. It's identity. It's treasure. For collectors, the lesson is clear. If you ever encounter a 1934 D Buffalo nickel, no matter the condition, treat it as gold. Because in reality, it is more than gold. Its scarcity, its demand, and its place in history make it one of the greatest nickels ever struck. To own one is to own a fragment of America's strength, frozen forever in time. The advice? Guard it, protect it, and never underestimate it. The price today is stunning, but tomorrow it could be even higher. The market is alive with energy, and these treasures are becoming harder and harder to find. The 1934 D Buffalo nickel is not just a coin, it's a future fortune. And this is exactly why Hidden US Coins brings you these revelations every day. Because treasures like this are out there sometimes in plain sight, sometimes tucked away in forgotten collections, and their value is rewriting history with every new discovery. So, when you look at the 1934 D, don't see just a piece of old money. See a relic of the Great Depression. See the face of America's strength, the proud chief and the mighty bison, carrying the spirit of a nation that refused to fall. And see a treasure that collectors would give everything to possess. Next coin, number 6. The year is 1916. America is standing at the edge of change. The First World War rages across Europe, and though the U.S. hasn't fully entered the conflict yet, the nation is already feeling the tremors of a world in turmoil. Amid this historic moment, in pockets across America, people were carrying a coin that would become one of the most beloved and collectible designs ever struck, the Buffalo nickel. Designed by the great James Earl Fraser, the Buffalo nickel was never just a coin. It was art. It was identity. It was America. On the obverse, Fraser immortalized the proud profile of a Native American chief, a composite inspired by real leaders whose faces told the story of endurance, dignity, and spirit. On the reverse, the mighty American bison, a creature once roaming the plains in uncountable numbers, standing tall as a symbol of raw frontier strength. This was more than money, it was a miniature monument to America's soul. And in 1916, 1 year after the series officially began, these nickels had already carved their place into history. But here's the truth, not all buffalo nickels are created equal. Some are common, some scarce, and some so rare, so extraordinary, that they become the centerpiece of collections worth millions. The 1916 no mint mark buffalo nickel is one of those treasures. Now let's focus on the specific coin before us. This 1916 buffalo nickel carries black and light green spots across its surface, in what collectors call unclear condition. Some might see its marks as imperfections, but to the eyes of an experienced collector, they are more than that. They are natural signatures of time, signs of authenticity that whisper of a journey spanning more than a century. Each spot, each shadow is proof that this coin has not only survived, but carried its story through generations. What makes the 1916 no mint mark so powerful is its scarcity. Being struck in Philadelphia, it lacks a mint mark, but don't let that fool you. This is one of the earliest issues in the Buffalo Nickel series, making it incredibly significant for collectors. And because early Buffalo nickels were heavily circulated, finding survivors, especially ones with identifiable features, is a challenge bordering on the impossible. And here's the suspenseful truth you've been waiting for. In today's auction market, this very coin, a 1916 Buffalo nickel without mint mark, even in unclear condition with its black and green toning, is commanding an astonishing $193,000. Think about that. A coin worth 5 cents when it left the Philadelphia Mint in 1916 has transformed into a six-figure treasure today. That's not imagination. That's reality. The current market is alive. Values are climbing, and this coin is not just valuable, it is a prize that can change everything for whoever owns it. And make no mistake, the value is not stopping here. With every passing year, with every collector who enters the chase, the demand grows stronger. Coins like the 1916 Buffalo nickel are not simply collectibles. They are lifelines to America's past and treasures for the future. Their worth is increasing steadily, and those who hold them today may one day see even greater fortunes tomorrow. For collectors, the advice is timeless. Never underestimate an early Buffalo nickel, especially a 1916. Protect it, cherish it, and know that you are not simply holding a piece of metal, you are holding history. You are holding art. You are holding America's story, pressed into silver and copper alloy, destined to outlive us all. This is why collectors are obsessed with Buffalo nickels. This is why auction houses erupt with excitement whenever a rare one appears. And this is why Hidden U.S. Coins brings you these treasures faithfully, truthfully, and passionately, so you will always know the value of what others might ignore. So, when you look at the 1916 Buffalo nickel, don't just see scratches or wear. See a survivor from over a century ago. See the Native American chief, proud and enduring. See the mighty buffalo, unbroken and unbowed. And see a treasure chest condensed into a coin worth nearly $200,000. Next, coin number 7. The year is 1925. America is alive with jazz, automobiles, and the pulse of the roaring 20s. Cities are rising, speakeasies are buzzing, and fortunes are being made overnight. Yet, tucked away in the pockets of ordinary Americans, a humble 5-cent piece was quietly being spent on candy, newspapers, and streetcar rides. That coin? The legendary Buffalo nickel. Struck without a mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1925 Buffalo nickel is far more than small change. It's a timeless work of art. Designed by James Earl Fraser, every detail of this coin reflects America's strength and resilience. The Native American profile on the obverse is not just a face, it is a living tribute to the people who shaped this land. The reverse, showing the mighty bison, is a reminder of the wild frontier, standing strong against time itself. But here's the truth. The 1925 Buffalo nickel without mint mark is not easy to find in great condition. Most were heavily circulated, wearing down the details until little more than an outline remained. That's why this specific coin, preserved in very fine condition, stands out as a shining survivor of its era. Look closely and you can still see the proud features of the chief, the texture of the buffalo's mane, and the story that this coin carries across a century. Collectors know that buffalo nickels from the 1920s are highly desirable, but the 1925 issue is a standout. Its scarcity, combined with its demand among serious numismatists, makes it one of the key treasures of the series. And today, in the fast-rising world of rare coin auctions, this very nickel, this 1925 no-mint mark beauty, is commanding a staggering $188,000. Yes, $188,000 for a coin that once bought a newspaper on the corner of a busy street in the 1920s. A 5-cent coin that now holds the power to outshine gold and silver in value. And the suspense only builds from here. Because collectors know one thing. Buffalo nickels are not just about rarity, they are about legacy. They connect us to a time when America was shaping its identity, and they carry that spirit forward into the present day. So, when you hold a 1925 Buffalo nickel, you are holding more than money. You're holding a relic of the Roaring '20s, a miniature time capsule, and a treasure worth nearly $200,000. It is proof that the smallest things can carry the greatest stories. Next, coin number 8. Picture America in 1918. The world is at war, soldiers are marching across Europe, and at home, families are tightening their belts, rationing goods, and praying for peace. And in the very same year, the U.S. Mint was striking one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Buffalo nickel. The 1918 Buffalo nickel without mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, stands as a bold reminder of a turning point in history. Its obverse proudly displays the profile of a Native American chief, a powerful composite drawn from several real tribal leaders who lent their likeness to artist James Earl Fraser. It's not just an image, it's a symbol of America's enduring spirit, courage, and the voices of those who came before us. Flip the coin, and you will find the powerful buffalo, a creature once roaming the Great Plains in millions, but by 1918 nearly hunted to extinction. Fraser's design captured this majestic animal at a time when it was vanishing from the American landscape. That makes this coin not only money, it's art, history, and memory all pressed into a 5-cent piece. Now here's what makes the 1918 Buffalo nickel especially rare and desirable: its condition and survival rate. The nickel's intricate design wore down quickly in circulation. Many examples from this year are now so worn that only faint outlines remain. But when a 1918 no-mint mark surfaces with its details still alive, even if unclear, it becomes a numismatic prize, eagerly sought after by collectors. And today, in the modern auction market, that value has skyrocketed. The very coin you see before you, this 1918 Buffalo nickel in its preserved form, commands an incredible $190,500. Yes, nearly $200,000 for what was once a simple nickel slipped into pockets and purses during one of the most turbulent years in history. Think about it. A coin that might have been used to buy a loaf of bread in 1918 now has the power to secure life-changing wealth. Its price is not just climbing, it is soaring. Each year, collectors and investors alike compete fiercely for these rarities, driving values even higher. This is not fantasy. This is not exaggeration. This is the living truth of the rare coin market today. Owning a 1918 Buffalo nickel is like holding a fragment of America's soul, an artifact of war, survival, and resilience. It's more than money. It's a time machine. It's a treasure chest in the palm of your hand. Next, coin number 9. And now, collectors and treasure hunters, we arrive at the climax of our journey. The year is 1936. America is slowly climbing out of the Great Depression. Franklin D. Roosevelt is leading the nation with his New Deal. Hope is returning to families, and the promise of better days lies ahead. Yet even in those uncertain times, the U.S. Mint struck a coin that would go on to become a legend, the Buffalo nickel with the Denver D mint mark. This coin is not just rare, it is untouched by time. While most Buffalo nickels of the 1930s were heavily circulated, worn down by thousands of transactions, this survivor shines in uncirculated condition. Imagine that. A coin struck nearly 90 years ago, preserved in a way that its surfaces still gleam with the very luster it left the Denver Mint with. Every line of the Native American profile, every detail in the buffalo's strong frame, remains crisp and sharp. It is the Buffalo nickel at its absolute finest. Collectors know that condition is everything. And when a 1936D Buffalo nickel survives in this pristine state, it transforms from a simple 5-cent piece into a powerhouse of numismatic glory. This is not a coin you stumble upon. This is a coin that demands respect, awe, and fierce competition whenever it appears at auction. And here's where the suspense bursts open. Today, in the roaring modern coin market, this very coin commands an astonishing $173,000. Yes, $173,000 for a nickel. Not fiction, not fantasy, but the living, breathing truth of the rare coin world. Think about it. A coin that once slipped into pockets during the Depression, a coin that might have bought a newspaper or a meal, now holds the weight of a life-changing treasure. This is proof that history is alive, that value grows with time, and that sometimes the smallest pieces of metal carry the greatest fortunes. And here's my advice to every collector listening right now. If you ever come across a Buffalo nickel with a clear mint mark, with strong details, with luster still dancing across its surface, hold on to it. Guard it like treasure. Because coins like this are not just investments, they are keys to history, symbols of survival, and tickets to wealth that grows with every passing year. Friends, this 1936D Buffalo nickel closes our list not because it's the last, but because it's a reminder. A reminder that treasures hide in plain sight, that wealth is not always measured in gold bars, but sometimes in nickels no bigger than a thumb. And remember, this is why you follow Hidden US Coins. This channel is faithful, trustworthy, and always bringing you the latest truths from the world of rare treasures. Every day, new discoveries rise, new records break, and new fortunes are made. And I promise you will always hear it here first. So, as we end today's countdown of the top 9 ultra-rare and most valuable war and Buffalo nickels, remember this: treasure is out there. It's in drawers and jars and collections long forgotten. And sometimes it is sitting in your very pocket waiting to change your life forever.